We live, Nicholas?
No.
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 You
No.
did you
Never
hit the
again.
button? Did you hit
Never
the button?
again.
Oh, well, tell you.
You got
Nicholas, what did I
nothing.
do
You
with
don't tell me
myself?
anything. You got nothing.
I'll tell you, I've been so fucking off today. Yeah, I know that it was a holiday like on Monday, right? And so we get to I'm bringing my daughter to school today, and she got new shoes
Oh,
and
nice.
some nice new Giannis's, and they're tie shoes, right? But the last pair of shoes she had, was they were Nikes. They were also Giannis's, but they still had the Velcro strap. These are like so. She's more than capable of tying her own shoes, but I tied one for her this morning because you size up a little bit. You want to make sure they're nice and tight. So I tied it. She ties her own shoe. She gets to school this morning. She starts running around. Hey, kid, your shoelaces are untied. She looks down. That's the one you tied. And the mother standing next to me starts laughing. I go, yeah, that's about right. And then we're standing around talking, and one of Violet's friends is wearing the blue shirt and pink dress or whatever. And her mom goes, "Oh, look, uh, she says there's your twin." But neither the daughter or I heard that. We just heard, "Oh, look, there's twins." So we're both looking out, and the little kid and I go, "There's no twins out there." And then it hit me that the girl walking towards the school and her daughter were dressed the same. That's what she meant by twins. And I said, I'm with her. I thought, and so she's making fun of me, right? I'm just like, I tell you. And then one of her friends, Owen, love Owen. Owen's great. We talk baseball. Owen and I talk baseball. He's a big Sox fan, right?
Tough.
And I said, "Oh, tough weekend for our boys, huh?" He goes, "Yeah." And he goes, just a matter of fact, he goes, "What did you do this weekend?" Like we've been like, drinking buddies for decades. And I said, "Oh, well, we saw Lilo and Stitch. Had a barbecue. It was a pretty chill weekend. How about you?" He's like, "Well, I went to Boston Calling, saw Dave Matthews Band, saw Vampire Weekend."
Wow.
And I'm just like, "All right." And then the kids go, and I turn around, his dad's standing there, and I go, "This kid had a cooler weekend than me."
Did we
He's
not
like,
hang out? Does that mean nothing to you now? Wow.
well,
Okay. No, that's cool. No.
well, Nicholas, it was a sentimental visit. I wasn't gonna, I wasn't gonna brag about the awesome gift that I gave you.
Oh, I thought you were talking about how I gave your daughter another Pokemon gift because I'm the best
She,
TL
dude,
there is.
she loves that. By the way,
Oh,
it's
good.
right on her desk. Right, I meant to take a picture and send it to you. She absolutely loves it.
Nice.
It's sitting on her desk. I got my Daredevil card too, right here. Thank you. Oh, and you can't see.
I was wondering if you were in you're wearing your autumnal shirt. Vault came out with some sick ass shirts for a bunch of their horror titles that Joe and I picked up. We got those recently. I finally was able to give it to Joe in person. You got the nasty and you got autumnal. I have the plot. So cool. I love these shirts. They came out great.
Yeah, they did. They really did, Nicholas. And maybe you would have made more of an impression on me this weekend if you drove us around in a golf cart.
Oh, that's so fucking weird. Only in Boston. But
Yeah. That was someone came rolling up to the Irish pub in a fucking golf cart. It was tremendous. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages, TLDR Studios proudly presents to you the greatest, and I mean the greatest, podcasting team in the world. He's your friendly neighborhood comic book writer, Nick Fryer. I am Tenacious Doc, and together we are the TLDR Comic Book Club, baby. Boy, I got those backwards, but I pulled it off nicely. Nicholas, how are you?
That's the sign of a professional. Even though you went in the wrong order, it still felt flawless. Nobody would know, but you said it. So that's why I had
I'm
I
human.
didn't even know.
I'm human, Nicholas.
You are,
and
you did
I
a good
like
job.
I like to let the people know that I'm human, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes me more relatable,
Sure.
makes me more
Yeah.
relatable,
Yeah. You be the
Stop.
relatable one. I'll be the asshole. How's that sound? That
Well,
work?
I didn't say asshole. People sometimes they might look up to me. At all 5'6" of me, they might look
Sure.
up to me and say like, there goes a damn near perfect individual. I say, no. I am flawed just like you. We are one.
I am you. I am man. I I hope that every one of our Seinfeld fan listeners got that one. Anyways, we have delayed long enough in talking about the news of the day. We will get to, our solicit, we'll get to what's new, but we have to get to what's going on, what just came out in comics. What?
Aren't you going to tell the people like where to find us, where to
I was
listen to us?
I was gonna do that after this, but I'll do it now
You're
because
that excited? You're that? No, no, no,
it's
no, 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 no,
it's
no. I
no,
don't want
it's
to. I'm not going to stomp your flame, buddy. I'm not going to put out your fire. Let's do it. Let's do
it's
it. Let's dance.
it's that big of a deal, Joe. It supersedes everything. Marvel and DC are doing a crossover event once again. It's been like 20 years since they last did this. And honestly, Joe, we've talked about it. We've had people talk to us about it in varying capacities. I think anybody who's consistently reading comics and kind of is tapped into the comic space had an idea that this was coming, but still, I've felt for so long that this isn't going to happen. Like there's like it's with everything going on now with the higher ups. One's owned by Disney, one's owned by like Discovery, whatever Warner Brothers owner is, however it works.
HBO.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there's no way they're going to be able to kind of sort this out from a legal standpoint. And I was so wrong, and I am so happy to be wrong. And we are kicking off this event with Deadpool and Batman issue 1. This is going to be a one shot, which is going to be written by Zeb Wells with art by Greg Capullo. And then that's going to be coming in September. Then in November, we're getting Batman Deadpool issue 1 from DC. And that's going to be written by Grant Morrison and drawn by Dan Mora. I cannot believe, like, there's other details that we'll get into in a second, but just on this alone, I cannot believe that we're getting this, Joe. I know you have thoughts on this, the twosome that we're getting in Batman and Deadpool. But before we get into that, I do want to note what we got from Marvel, because they both sent out press releases. One of their descriptors on this story was Wade Wilson has been hired for a job in Gotham City, but will the world's greatest detective help him or destroy him? So I'm curious for you. You and I were talking about this beforehand. A lot of different things going on, but in terms of this pairing, what do you think of Deadpool and Batman? We're not seeing verses. We're just seeing Deadpool / Batman, Batman / Deadpool. What do you think?
So okay, I'm very excited, and I love the idea that we're getting this crossover here, and I think what I like is the premise, right? Like Wade Wilson is in Gotham, and Batman's not going to know how to deal with this guy, right? My only thing is I don't know if this would have been the pairing that I would have gone with for this big massive crossover event, right? I might have, I might have chosen someone else, right? You've got to do Batman, right? And
Sure,
and
definitely.
Deadpool's wildly popular, but like it's going to be interesting to see how the writers tackle those two wildly different personalities. um I might have chosen a different Marvel character to start, and I think it's easy to say like, oh well, you Wolverine Batman, that one might have put
Sure.
more asses in the seats, or that one might have been more interesting. My head sort of flooded with ideas. So even though I'm questioning like why Deadpool to pair with Batman, I am very excited at the same time, and like that's a team, man. Those four creators right there, they know what the hell they're doing. So I'm not worried about like, oh, this story's gonna suck or anything like that. I'm just curious how Batman is gonna play off a character like uh Deadpool, because like Jason Todd, right? Like he's just there's something different there between like his sort of personality and Deadpool's. And with
Oh,
Deadpool, right, you've got the
yeah.
you've got like, well, I mean like from like an asshole perspective, right? Or
Definitely.
like someone who's willing to cross the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but with Deadpool, there's that expected zaniness, and there's that expected sort of breaking of the fourth wall. So how is that going to play with Batman?
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm just a smidge skeptical, but not in so that like, oh no, this is terrible. This is not going to work. Oh, I'm very excited. I maybe would have chosen a different character for this sort of big, massive crossover event.
So on that note, I do have something that I want to broach with you in a little bit regarding Batman and who I may be considered pairing him with from the Marvel Universe a few years ago. But before we get into that, if you are like Joe and you have concerns about, I don't, or are skeptical in some capacity about how this pairing is going to work out, we did get a little bit more information from Marvel and DC in their press releases. So these issues will feature backup stories, quote, showcasing dynamic matchups between beloved characters from both universes, close quote. So I believe that means we're going to be seeing other characters in the DC in Marvel universes featured in these backup stories. It's not just going to be other Deadpool and Batman stories as backup stories. So we haven't gotten any names on that yet. So excited about that. Furthermore, we're going to be getting more of this too, because this is this is a full quote from one of the press releases. These two crossover one-shots between DC and Marvel have been more than 20 years in the making and are part of a larger collaboration program between the two companies, a crossover program like the comic book industry has never seen. So we've seen them cross over before. Something tells me they're trying to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit, maybe last a little bit longer. Not to quote Dork with this event. Obviously, we've seen a lot of awesome crossovers in recent years. Obviously, the most recent one for us is seeing one of the most recent ones is TMNT and the Power Rangers. We're getting the third volume of that from Ryan Parrott soon, by the way. So like this is going to take precedent over all others, and obviously just Marvel and DC, like they're the big two. They're the big two for a reason. I'm excited to see more. I can't wait to see more. And on that note, Joe, this idea getting brought back up came actually back up during the pandemic, and I thought it was Gail Simone who was the one that had kind of talked about it. I remember seeing her tweet about it in some capacity on Twitter back in 2020. So what on Geeks Worldwide, where I used to write a lot of stuff, comic stuff, I decided to do a series where I was doing pairing a DC or Marvel character with a character from the other universe. So I did end up doing Batman, as you would have imagined. I also did some other niche characters who, like Red Hood, X-23, who people know, but are certainly not as popular as a Batman or a Superman or even a Deadpool. And the character that I wanted to see Batman go toe to toe with, definitely not as much of a headline grab, but I wanted to see him go up against Taskmaster, because I know that Taskmaster, first, you're putting him up against a villain, so it's going to be a legit versus, unlike some of the other verses that we've seen from Marvel or DC. And furthermore, Batman is so great at preparing, but how do you prepare for a guy that is the most adaptable individual? So I think that would be as great of a challenge as Batman could face from an opposing villain. And I'm curious, you brought up before, there are different characters that rattle around in your head. Batman being the lead character, you like you said, you have no issue with that. Is there someone else that you would have considered putting in for as the lead Marvel character against Batman or with Batman?
So I don't know what the story would be, but like I think an interesting character would be Bruce Banner, right? Because of
Mm,
two reasons. One, right? I think Bruce Banner is every bit an intellectual equal, if not more so than Bruce Wayne and Batman. So I think on that level, those two would be very compatible. But the thing Batman hates more than anything, right, is the unknown. He's prepared for everything. Well, what is something you can't fucking prepare for? The Hulk, right? What's going to set Bruce Banner off? What's going to get him to change, right? And that unpredictability, you know, I think there's a story that could be told there, either where, it starts off with Batman, the Hulk going into Gotham and tearing shit up, and Batman thinking he's a villain, and then finding out he's Bruce, right? And then they have to work together to, solve whatever it is or whatever, right? There could be any number of ways you could take this, but I think that would be an interesting one.
yeah,
Because I'm not necessarily a Hulk guy, right?
same.
But I think that could be something that could be very interesting.
Yeah, I do think that could be very interesting. I think it's a really good call. Just adding in that unpredictability. I think that with Deadpool, there will be some level of that, but it's not going to be on the same level necessarily. Like he's like you said, it's more zany, it's more wacky, it's more just like being a dickhead just for the sake of it, as opposed to Bruce Banner or the Hulk, excuse me, where he's kind of all over the place. Definitely a better like headliner than the one that I presented in Taskmaster, but I think there's a lot of characters that you can put Batman with or against, and
the
this
X-Men,
one,
Cyclops, Wolverine, Batman and Gambit. That's the buddy cop that I want.
I think Wolverine's the one that makes the most sense there. But yeah, there's a lot of different options, and I'm sure I would think Spider-Man or Wolverine are going to be the next two. Maybe Iron Man,
Daredevil and Batman, right? Like, come on.
Daredevil and Batman. Yeah, that's one where they're very similar.
Yeah.
But I think honestly, Joe, as we're kind of spitballing through this event doesn't start until September. The first one shot doesn't go out until September. I think going forward, we don't necessarily need to do it every episode. We could though, but we should mix in some more of these crossover ideas, some pitches between the two of us. Try not to dump. We can if you have a Wonder Woman idea and I have a Wonder Woman idea, we can do that. You and I will have to flesh it out on here, but we definitely don't want to double up in any capacity. So let's do something. How do you feel about that going forward?
Let's cook us something up.
Okay. All right. Cool. Awesome. So we've obviously, that's massive, huge news. We needed to make sure that you guys were covered on everything on that front. After looking through the press releases and all the other news that we've seen, I know Entertainment had an exclusive on it. Those are the big nuggets to pull from all of this. So yeah, very excited. As we hear more, we'll make sure to let you guys know more. We're also posting about it on our socials as well. All right. And on that note, speaking of socials, I got to make sure that I remind everybody, make sure you subscribe to one of our audio channels because that's the only place you're going to find our Fireside Chats. Those are our conversations with creators across the industry. You can only find those on our audio channels, and that's iTunes, Spotify, Geeks Worldwide Radio, Amazon Music, Audible, all those places, all the major podcasting platforms. And if you can't find us on the one that you're listening to, if you're finding us on YouTube right now, on Blue Sky, whatever, just let us know. Send us a DM, and we'll make sure that we're over there. But I'm pretty sure we're covered wherever you find us on podcasting platforms. And when you're there, wherever you check us out, make sure you leave a 5-star rating and review. Otherwise, you're going to learn the real meaning of Tenacious Doc. All right. With that. We are moving up our solicit a little early. Normally we do it on the 1st of the month, but we're doing it to close out May. Because we may or may not have some stuff cooking. Can't confirm or deny anything because we do not have anything in the hopper at the moment. But that is where we're at, Joe. So let's get rolling with what's new because we do not have anything for catching up.
So one quick thing I will say, if you are catching us on YouTube right now and you do not subscribe, please smash that subscribe button. And if you catch any of our clips and you happen to stumble upon us, it helps us out tremendously. We're doing our absolute darndest here to grow and reach as many people as possible. So if you can help us out by throwing out a subscribe there on YouTube, it would help us out tremendously. Now, Nicholas, for what's new for May 28th, 2025, the year of our Lord, which is funny because in one of the books that I'm going to talk about later on, that is actually one of the lines, like 18 something or 16, whatever, year of our Lord. And I go, yes, there it is. I see. From Marvel Comics, we have Ultimate Spider-Man issue 17, Uncanny X-Men issue 15, The Avengers issue 26, Magic issue 5, Deadpool Wolverine issue 5, Predator versus Spider-Man issue 2. Nicholas, holy hell, is this series something else?
Must be nice.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I won't talk too much about it, so I will, as to not tease young Nicholas here. But it's up there with comic of the week, man. It was something else. Eddie Brock, Carnage, issue 4, Spider-Boy, issue 19, Rogue, The Savage Land, issue 5, Werewolf by Night, issue 10, Doom's Division, issue 3, Cable, Love and Chrome, issue 5, Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, issue 2, New Champions, issue 5, Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, adaptation, issue 4, The Infinity Watch, issue 5, Giant Size X-Men, issue 1, Venom Original Sin, issue 1, Marvel and Disney, What If Donald Duck Became Iron Man, issue 1. And then, Nicholas, there is a issue you would like to dive into just a little deeper.
Yeah, real quick though, I do want to say Cable, Love, and Chrome. I had dibs on this book. I will be talking about it on the show. This was the final issue. That's why I'm not talking about it this week. Also, Uncanny X-Men had one of my my all-time favorite Gambit panels. He was not just him in the panel, but he was awesome in it, and so was everybody else. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Did you see all of Australia there
I,
with Gambit? You get the reference.
yes, I did. It was not an Aaron Baines moment. All right, so. So
all of Australia.
The book that I wanted to dive into is one that I'm taking dibs on, and that is Daredevil: Cold Day in Hell issue 2. This is a 3-issue miniseries, but each issue is oversized. This is written by Charles Soule with art by Steve McNevin, and I can't believe, Joe, that you hadn't checked this out yet. Obviously, the first issue came out. I'm pretty sure I issued the warning. I mean, it's standard. If nobody calls dibs on the first issue and one of us checks it out, get to the second issue and you still haven't read it, dibs are in place. So I'm taking dibs on this because Daredevil: Cold Day in Hell is shaping up to be like an all-time Daredevil story. Like, one of the biggest things that's been happening is we're seeing a lot of key characters enter the mix in this old man Daredevil type story. And on these characters alone, that everybody's in play with the characters aged and everything, that alone is just like, this is something that everybody's going to want to check out at some point. Very much has this one last ride kind of vibe. But at the same time, there are quite a few moving pieces in this where I feel like it's making for a great story. But I can't help but wonder, is there a chance that we get more from old man Matt Murdock, or maybe more from some of these other characters at some point? Either way, there's been a lot of great character development and a lot of awesome plot development. It's shaping up for being one hell of a final issue. Outstanding. Really enjoying Cold Day in Hell. So I can't wait to talk about that on the show down the line.
Let's go. Love it.
All right.
Love it.
Moving over to DC. We got Batman 160. Absolute Wonder Woman issue 8. Again, continues to be outstanding. Absolute Martian Manhunter issue 3. Superman issue 26. Justice League Unlimited issue 7. Green Arrow issue 24. Green Lantern issue 23. The Flash issue 21. Harley Quinn 51. Metamorpho the Elemental Man issue 6. Peacemaker presents the Vigilante Eagly double feature issue 3. I have got to get around to checking this one out. Batman Wayne Family Adventures issue 166. Batman Giant Size Special issue 160. And Mr. Terrific Year 1 issue 1.
All right, from Image and Skybound. I want to just I'm gonna pull something up real quick. So I took them off the Solicit initially because we didn't get the review copies, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're not coming out this week. So I figure I should mention them. But Void Rivals issue 19 and G.I. Joe issue 7. When we don't get review copies from Image, especially sometimes with these titles, there's spoilers they don't want to get out there or something. So 90% of the time they send review copies, 10% of the time they don't. Image, usually when we get review copies, if it's not in the folder, it means it's not coming out that week except for Image. So I wanted to mention those two books because we didn't get review copies for them ahead of time, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're not coming out, so just be on the lookout for those. But the ones I can confirm, Sir Nicholas, the Department of Truth issue 30. Did you read this one?
I'm behind on this, unfortunately.
Okay. This issue triggered me a little bit, and it went in a direction I don't know if I'm a fan of.
Ooh.
So there's that. Gunslinger Spawn issue 43. Hyde Street issue 6. Man, this is a series that just gets better and better and better and better and better. And this issue was tremendous. Assorted Crisis Events issue 3. Feral issue 13. What an ending.
Great ending. Outstanding ending. This is actually the first thing that I read this week. Outstanding ending.
Oh, it was something else, man. Bad Things. We're Taking Everyone Down With Us, issue 3. Another excellent issue. There was a lot of moving parts in this particular issue, one of which I didn't see coming. And then what I loved about it was, like, you as the reader know, what's the little girl's name?
Annalise,
right? You're like, come on, Annalise, figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
It was so good. So good. Rat City issue 14, Hornsby and Halo issue 7, You'll Do Bad Things issue 3, Bitterroot, The Next Movement issue 3. And then we have a whole slew of books this week from Image. So I'll why don't you lead us off? Because two of these books you're discussing. Why don't you lead us off here, Nicholas?
Yeah. Okay. So I decided to forego talking about the Power Fantasy when issue 8 came out. And it was quite honestly, of all the issues that I didn't dig into it, I said it at the time, but it was the worst time for me to decide to do that. I love this series. This series is up for an Eisner. It was a Floppy Award winner for me in 2024. Kieran Gill and Casper Wingard, they are crushing it. And this issue was one of the most fast-paced issues that we've gotten so far. A lot of moving pieces, more so than even for this series in general. And what's so funny is I said this a lot with this series, and Kieran has done this in other stories, but he's done it so much with the Power Fantasy, where he delivers a haymaker, but he does it so quietly, and it's just like fuck. It's just you get some momentum in the issue, and then at the end, it's just like what the fuck. His final pages, him and Casper, they've been doing an outstanding job of just making it so loud but so quiet at the same time. And there is a massive shift in power that we've been anticipating in this series that's kind of been building up recently, and now there's even more that's going on in that regard. And again, I don't want to get into spoilers. I got to be careful with that. But just the power shifts that we're seeing in the Power Fantasy are, stuff's coming, but then there's just something else you have no clue, no idea. And I just love these last two issues have been outstanding. And if you're a big Etienne Lux guy, like I have turned into very quickly, this is a great issue for him. Kind of haven't seen as much of him recently. He was very much at the center of things in the first arc, but this issue took center stage more so. And there's also a lot of characters that are talking about him in this issue, and I really enjoyed that because quite a few of them don't like him. And quite honestly, I can understand why most people wouldn't like him because he's kind of all knowing and he's kind of a dick about it. So, but that's why I love him too. So, the Power Fantasy, I will continue to talk about that on the show because I absolutely love this series. Issue 9 not being any exception.
Okay, so the other book, or one of the books that I want to talk about, is Dark Honor, issue 1. This is written by Ethan Sachs, and then with writing credits also to K.S. Bruce and Brian D. Cubelis, with art by our guy Fico Asio. And I gotta tell you, Nicholas, I had no idea what to expect from this story, and again, we've been getting a lot of these books lately that I absolutely enjoy. The action flick, the popcorn comic, right? That I've so dubbed them, because this is fast paced. The action is there, the violence is there. It's like I'm watching an action movie, and I just want to smash a bunch of popcorn. And this story, it revolves around the pandemic, New York City. But this is a mob story, right? This is a struggle for gang territory. This is a struggle for gang power, and sort of you got this sort of generational family going back a century, sort of dominating all the power and control of everything. And now we've got someone coming in who he means to change how business is done. And it gets really violent, really, really fast, and we get a really badass character named Rain that we're introduced to, and she's a no nonsense killer, man, and she's a tough old broad, and I mean that with the greatest, as a great term of endearment, because she's gonna leave carnage in her wake. So this was an absolutely excellent first issue that I highly recommend.
Nice. And you're not taking dips, so I can go in and check this out.
Yeah, my dibs list is long enough, Nicholas. Go ahead. Go nuts.
Okay. Now, a book, speaking of dibs, that I thought I was going to be able to add my dibs list, but it turns out is a one shot, is Mommy Block. This is by Marguerite Bennett and Eleonora Carlini.
You trying to tell us something, Nicholas? You trying to tell us something, Nicholas?
Oh, you know what? That was one of the smartest jokes that you've actually made on here. That was well done. That was well done. Bravo, sir. So yeah, unfortunately, this is not a full length series. This is part of the ninth circle imprint that's doing a series of one shots over at Image. Honestly, though, Joe, I felt like this had a ton of potential to be a full length series, to be full 6 issues, what have you. I'm not fully sold on the fact that we won't get more with this in this world necessarily either. I don't know what the full plan is with Ninth Circle, but I feel like if they want to do more with Mommy Blog, they could do more with Mommy Blog. The main character in this is named Astrid Covington, and she's this like in her world, she's probably not a terrifying mother, but she absolutely is a terrifying mother because we get to know her in all of her glory. And she's looking to use her motherhood and sheer brute force to move up in her community. And she's a very competent individual, but also very terrifying because of her motivations. And there's a lot of commentary on what I think that these two, we have two female creators here who they are providing a level of commentary on motherhood, on social media, and how people use that for motherhood in some capacity, and then also things that some mothers will do for their children. And it's let's just say that this mama bear is not to be trifled with. So get an interesting, we got the great perspective from two lady writers that should be the kind of type of people that are telling this story, and a lot of great insight there, but also just funny and also unhinged in a lot of ways. If we don't get more from this with this character, I'm going to be surprised, quite honestly. So a lot of potential with that one shot, but that's what they're supposed to be, I think, with these one shots. I don't know what the plan entirely is over there at with the Ninth Circle imprint over at Image. But anyways, moving on. So obviously a ton of stuff from Image. Over at Boom, we got Minor Arcana issue 7, The Last Boy issue 3, Bronze Faces issue 3, and The Armory Wars No World for Tomorrow issue 11.
Okay, from a Dark Horse, we have Black Hammer, Spiral City, issue 6, Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons, The Rise of Hellfire, issue 3, Critical Role, Vox Machina, Origins, issue 6, Barstow, issue 4, and Who Are the Power Pals, issue 3.
From Mad Cave, we got at least one book that we want to dig into. Well, there's quite a few books worth being dug into. So we got Defenders of Earth, issue 7, Dark Pyramid, issue 3, Crush Depth, issue 3, which you and I have been waiting a long time to get this issue because we checked out the first two, and there's the fucking monsters in this series are nightmare inducing. They so gross, dude.
This hands down is the best issue of the series yet. And this was, I think, the most suspenseful, the most horrific. And the art in this issue in particular was absolutely stellar.
Yep. And then we got the final issue of Kill Train issue 5, which, a little tease for everybody, Joe will be including that in his stack this week. So he'll be digging into that more there. But right now, we got to dig into The Pale Knight issue 1, written by Peter Milligan with art by Val Rodriguez. What did you think, Joe?
I loved it. This is probably like one of my favorite periods of time in history is the medieval setting, because it's the closest time period. It's what you think of when you think of fantasy stories, right?
Absolutely.
And the art here by Val Rodriguez, I thought, was tremendous. It fit the tone, the vibe, of the story really well. It really sort of just it pulls you right into the world. I love the premise of this story so much. You're out and you've been out fighting, this holy war for God knows how long. All you want to do is get back to your family, right? Like that's a very relatable thing. And when we have a guy who seems to be fairly, a morally good dude, even though he's out and he's got to take lives, right? That's that's wartime, unfortunately. But he seems like he's got his shit together. The most important thing to him is his family, and then when things go sideways, what a man is willing to do to save his family, even right, even the best of us, right? And I thought this story was a good sort of sort of telling of that. I loved the twist that it took at the end, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. Right.
Mhm.
I just thought this was an excellent first issue.
You know what you didn't talk about? I don't know how you didn't fucking talk about it. The Pale Knights Squire stinks.
Oh,
What a jerk that kid is. Oh my
he
god. He's the
he
worst.
he does fucking stink.
Oh,
What a the best part was like, well, he's such a smug little shit too.
yeah, he is.
He's
So
like,
entitled.
so I could talk now. I did ask you a question, yes. And then he starts to talk again. He goes, I didn't ask you a question. Just
Yep.
like he's just constantly slapping him down. But yeah, he does stink.
Yep. That dynamic was awesome. But God, that character stinked. The other thing that I did want to touch on too. I love that you talked about the art because it really does have like this graininess to it that really fits in the
Gothic,
era so well.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it fits in the era so well. The other thing too, I'm I talk about narration on the show all the time, and like I could be. It can take me out of a story. I can be very critical about it when it comes to comics. In third person narration, especially, I feel like we see less and less of that today. Like in older comics, I feel like we saw a lot of that, and I'm not always the biggest fan of that. Even more so, I love that how that was utilized here by Peter Milligan. I thought it was a great choice, and it really fleshes out the world well, but also explains everything that's going on with Sir Hugh de Grey mentally, and so it's very well utilized, and I think it's essential to this story.
It's like we're reading a journal entry,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know? Yeah.
Yep, 100%. It was perfect. So very well done, and such a great choice for this story. All right, why don't we save Oni for last because there is one book we want to talk about there. From IDW, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures issue 25, Star Trek Lore War Shax's Worst Day issue 1. Monster High Pride 2025 issue 1, My Little Pony Generation 5 Greatest Hits issue 1. From Lilith, we got issue 4.
From Vault, we have Lilith.
What did I say?
From
From Lilith?
Lilith.
From Vault, we have Lilith issue 4.
And how
From
long has this book been coming out for?
it's been a bit, but I have like it's been coming out. We're not getting the review copy for some reason. From Dynamite, we have Thundercats Lost issue 3, The Herculoids issue 4, Vampirella issue 3, Space Ghost Johnny Quest Space Quest issue 2, and Gargoyles Demona issue 1, and then we got Oni Joe. Lay it out.
So two books from Oni this week. We have Rick and Morty, Ricklemania issue 4. And I can't tell you how pumped I am that we're getting Oni Press review copies now so we can discuss them. We have from friend of the show, Chris Condon, the Goddamn Tragedy issue 1 with art by Sean Karunaru. Karunaru?
Karuna was probably right.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, man, I gotta tell you, this is a one shot, and I loved it. I loved it. It was just the right length, you know, and it was a really great short story that is based on factual events. And what it's about a family during the westward expansion. I can't remember the family. It's a very famous family. If you can pull that up for me, Nicholas. But as they're traveling west, they decide that they're going to take a different route. They want to get to California quicker. They want to strike gold quicker. You know, the husband is he's a drunk. He's losing his mind. And I believe the story as it goes, the family sort of resorts to cannibalism to survive. And what I loved about it was the beginning of the story. Um, as you see the Jansen family. Thank you. A young woman entering a store owned by an author, and she's like, "Did you write such and such book?" Yep. She goes, "Okay, well, you've got it wrong. I'm here to tell you the real story." And he's like, "Well, how do you have the real story?" She goes, "Because I was there." And then she goes in and tells this beautiful story. And Sean's art in this I thought was absolutely fantastic. It had this great build of suspense, this great sort of theme of overcoming adversity, survival, right? Madness. Like it was so well done. Um, Chris is a hell of a writer, and I just, he's been doing this where he's sort of taking these sort of factual, these historically, these historical stories, and then sort of not retelling them, but sort of giving them the, bringing them to the world of comics, and putting his own great touch on them. This was excellent. I loved every single panel of this one shot.
Yeah, Sean's art style really played in well to this being like a flashback, primarily throughout the whole series, and then throughout the whole story, and then furthermore, there's like a supernatural element that's involved. So, and like, and also the setting, in every way, his artwork his art style, his approach was perfect for this story. Also, with this, like I read it, it's like this again, like Mommy Blog could be a full series. It could be a full 6 issues, however many issues you want to do. I was, but at reading it, I'm like, okay, like why would you not do that? But at the same time, that's also, I think, the sign of a great one shot where it's like, it's this full, complete story. You want more. This is all you're getting, though. The only other thing that I wanted to say, and again, without getting into specifics, without getting into spoilers, I feel like I'm correct in saying this. The ending is supposed to agitate you. And for me, very much mission accomplished. Like it was extremely well done, but I was like, that's fucking annoying. Like these last few details you find out, it's what? That was brutal. I mean,
Yeah.
that's so messed up. But again, we won't, like you guys have to read it to figure it out. The goddamn tragedy, one shot from Oni Press. Awesome stuff. All right, Joe. We have dug into everything that's this week. Of course, we've talked about the major news. We got to lay out what's coming out throughout the month of June for everybody. Why don't you kick us off with Marvel for the 4th of June?
Okay, we're on pace for a 5-hour episode here. Let's go for New Comic Book Day, June 4th, 2025. We have Ultimate Wolverine issue 6. Speaking of Chris Condon, we have X-Men issue 17, Amazing Spider-Man issue 5, Daredevil issue 22, The Immortal Thor issue 24, Storm issue 9, Laura Kinney Wolverine issue 7, All-Star Venom issue 7, Spider-Gwen the Ghost Spider issue 14, Doctor Strange of Asgard, issue 4, Red Hulk, issue 5, Helverine, issue 7. What a week for Benjamin Percy. Jedi Knights, issue 4, The High Republic, Fear of the Jedi, issue 5. And then we have a few issue ones. This first one here has me particularly intrigued. We get Ultimate Spider-Man, Incursion, issue 1. This is written by Dennis Camp and Cody Ziegler with art by Jonas Scarf. Before the maker remade Earth 6160, he left Miles Morales the key to reach his new universe. And when Miles's baby sister Billy uses it to travel to the ultimate universe, it's up to Spider-Man to save her. So we're getting an Ultimate Spider-Man with Miles Morales here. I can't wait to read this. Everything the Ultimate Universe has touched has been absolutely fantastic. So I saw Dennis Camp tweet out like, something about this a few weeks ago. Here it is. This is going to be awesome. We got a few other number ones here. We have Ghost Rider vs. Galactus, issue 1, written by J. Michael Straczynski with art by Juan Ferreira. We have Marvel Knights, The World to Come, issue 1, written by Christopher Priest and Joe Quesada with art by Richard Eisenova. And then we have Imperial, issue 1, written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Iban Coelho and Frederick Vincentini.
Yeah, Marvel is doing a whole ton of stuff because I feel like we've been seeing a ton of teases for Imperial for the last, I don't know, at least a few weeks, if not a few months. And then, I mean, Christopher Priest, Joe Quesada, you mash up, that's massive too. And then the other thing too, this got superseded by the Marvel DC news, but we finally got the official news that Benjamin Percy's Punisher run is going to be coming out too as well.
Yes.
Very soon. That's good. I think that's in August. If I'm not, maybe it's September. I have to don't quote me on that. I have to double check it. But that's another big thing that's coming that we're very excited about. That Joe and I, in particular, have been waiting for that news to drop. From DC, we got Absolute Superman issue 8, Absolute Green Lantern issue 3, Poison Ivy issue 34, Batgirl issue 8, Birds of Prey issue 22, Justice Society of America issue 8, Justice League The Atom Project issue 6, Resurrection Man Quantum Karma issue 3, Secret 6 issue 4, Wayne Family Values issue 167, and then we had a couple first issues, or we got a special here, DC Pride 2025, various artists and writers, and then we got Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, volume 2, issue 1 by Brian Buccellato and Christian Duce. I think Buccellato he must have done the first volume of this as well. I think people really received this well. Not something that I necessarily checked out. Obviously, we like Buccellato's work, particularly from No One. But yeah, so people liked it enough to read it the first time. So here we go.
Here we go. From Image and Skybound, we have Radiant Black issue 34. The Moon is Following Us issue 10. That issue more than likely is going to make me cry.
Finale,
The
right?
Walking Dead. Yep. The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 114. The Scorched issue 41. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero issue 317. Savage Twitch Case Files issue 14. Farmhand issue 22. Kaya issue 27. Monkey Meat, The Summer Batch issue 4. And The Patchwork Girl of Oz issue 5.
From Boom, we got Power Rangers Prime issue 7, Jim Henson's Labyrinth issue 8, Wind, The Power of the Blood issue 4, The Armory Wars, Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4, volume 2, issue 11. God, we love you, Boom, but that title kills me every time. And then Be Not Afraid, issue 1, written by Jude Ellison S. Doyle, with art by Lissandro Esterin. I think I got that right, Esterin.
Yeah. I think your Portuguese chops nailed that one pretty.
Is that a Portuguese last name? Is that a Portuguese last name?
Double R's, you roll them.
Thanks.
From Dark Horse, we have Let This One Be a Devil issue 4, Jump Scare issue 4, Arcana Royale issue 2, Our Brilliant Ruin, Horror at Crane Mansion issue 3. That's a hell of a week from Dark Horse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I am gonna be more excited for more Jump Scare because I think that's the final issue of this mini arc, but we haven't talked to Colin probably in a year, but man, I really want to check this thing out. I'm hoping that we get more of it, I should say, because these first 3 issues have been awesome. This character, I don't care. Like, I hope we get a great 4th issue and final issue, but at the same time, like, I also kind of don't care. Like, I need more of this character beyond these 4 issues. From Mad Cave, we got Pop Kill issue 4, Gotcha Man issue 10, The Slasher's Apprentice issue 2, which you took dibs on this one, right?
Yes. Excellent.
Yep. That's one that's shame on me that I didn't that I didn't call dibs. I knew about that one long enough. Buried long ago issue 2. Cannot wait to check that. It's been forever since we read that first issue. Then we got the Galaxy of Madness issue 10, and then number 1 that you've done a whole lot of coverage on this already, Joe. But tell the people a little more about it.
We have Endless Night issue 1, written by Mark London, with art by Tom Darenick, and this is a massive crossover event. With Jesus Christ, the what's the name of the
Revolution 9? Oh, the Underworld.
The Underworld. Thank you, Jesus. I'm getting older by the day, Nicholas. And so this is a crossover between, again, Revolution 9, The Hour of the Wolf, and
I am actually blanking on the other one.
Exit City.
There you go.
Sorry, Mad Cave. And so I did. They were very kind enough to reach out to us, and they sent us a package, and it was this really great. It's over on our YouTube, so go check it out. Where it was, they're getting ready for this crossover event, Endless Night. And so you get all these different case files and all the different characters from all the different books and different clues, as to, what might be going on in the story. And I've read all 3 of these books. I discussed Revolution 9 on the program not too long ago. This is an absolute universe you want to be reading. All these titles, so they're all great. And what's awesome too is once you've read them all, you pick up all all the different bits of crossovers that happens towards the end of each of these series, and it all is all going to come together here. So if you haven't put Endless Night on your pull list, do so. Just a quick synopsis here. When Axel Black, an obsessive tech billionaire and head of the Sinister Order of Nine, sends his operatives to exit City in search of a dangerous mystical artifact, only a team of unlikely allies from different corners of the underworld can prevent an apocalyptic catastrophe. So you have Velveteen, who's an elite rogue assassin, hell bent on revenge. She is from Revolution 9. You have McCormick and Miller are two detectives keeping peace in a lawless city. You talk about one cop has got super hyper observational skills. The other one is corrupt as the day is long, but they work together, baby, and they are a great team. And then you have Owen Blackwood, a monster hunter, duty bound to stop evil, and that's from the Hour of the Wolf. So they all come together, and it's great because, like I said, at the end of each one of those issues, you get those little tie-ins to each other and see how they all interconnect and how they sort of end up in Exit City. So, must read stuff. Excellent, excellent stuff.
Nice. I'll take us home on these last few before we get into the second week of June. So we got from Oni Adventure Time issue 3, Plague House issue 3, the Six Gun, Road to the Six, issue 1. This is written by Colin Bunn with art by Brian Hurt, which Joe talked about on the show way back. And for those wondering, the first sentence of the synopsis: the road to the six starts here. So we're turning back the clock with the Sixth Gun. From IDW, we got TMNT issue 9, TMNT Naruto issue 4, Star Trek issue 32, Godzilla Heist issue 4. From Titan, we got Solomon Kane, The Serpent Ring issue 3, and Heat Seeker Exposed issue 1 by Charles Ardai in Ace Continuado. And then from Dynamite, we got Thundercats issue 16, The Terminator issue 8, Captain Planet and the Planeteers issue 2, and then Red Sonja Attacks Mars issue 3.
All right. So for the second week of June, the 11th, we have from Marvel Comics. Strap in and strap on, baby. This is quite the long list. We have Ultimate X-Men issue 16, Ultimate Black Panther issue 17, One World Under Doom issue 5, Exceptional X-Men issue 10, Magic issue 6, Phoenix issue 12, Deadpool and Wolverine issue 6, Eddie Brock Carnage issue 5, Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe One Last Time issue 3, Star Wars issue 2, The New Champions issue 6, The Rise of Skywalker adaptation issue 5, and then this is where you need to strap in, baby. There's like 1,000 number ones coming out here. Yeah. So we have Death of the Silver Surfer issue 1, written by Greg Pak with art by Sumit Kumar. I will definitely be checking that one out. We have the New Avengers issue 1, written by Sam Humphries with art by Tom Lima. We have giant-sized Amazing Spider-Man issue 1, Al Ewing, Chip Zdarsky, Kevin Smith, Mitsuyashi Sakai, and various artists. And this is a giant-sized issue of Amazing Spider-Man. Kevin Smith makes his triumphant return to Marvel. So this is gonna have a bunch of stories in this particular issue. But those are some names, baby. Those are some names. We've got Runaways issue 1, written by Rainbow Roswell, art by Alana Casagrande. Giant-sized Dark Phoenix Saga issue 1, written by Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly with art by Rod Reese. We have Marvel Rivals Ignite issue 1, written and drawn by Peach Momoko. Spider-Girl issue 1, written by Torin Gronbeck with art by Andre Rizzo. Marvel United, a Pride special issue 1 with various writers and various artists. And Avengers Academy 1, written by Anthony Oliveria with art by Corella Borrielli.
All right, we need to break out the oxygen tank. That may be the most first issues from Marvel that we've seen as long as we've been doing the show.
In a hot minute, baby. That was a lot. That was a lot.
I think that was 9. That does not happen often. Anyways, moving on from DC, we got Absolute Batman issue 9. This is supposed to be the first issue of Bane. Action Comics, we got issue 1087. Batman and Robin issue 22. Batman Dark Patterns issue 7, Aquaman issue 6, Green Lantern Corps issue 5, Supergirl issue 2, DC versus Vampires World War V, issue 10. Batman 89 Echoes, issue 6. Fire and Ice When Hell Freezes Over, issue 3. Mad, issue 44. And then we got Robin and Batman, Jason Todd, issue 1, Jeff Lemire, Dustin Nguyen. I'm going to take dibs on it. I'm going to do it.
Dustin Win.
Nguyen.
I'm not going to listen to you.
Okay.
I'm blowing past that one. That's just like I'm not.
That's not how this works. That's not how
well,
that's not how it works.
I know it's not how it works. You know, sometimes you run a red light, Nicholas. It happens. Don't worry about it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Duly noted for the future. Honestly, I saw the announcement for this a while ago, and I was like, I'm not taking dibs on this. I'm like, I don't think Joe's going to take dibs on it either.
No.
But I'm very excited, to check this out.
Are we going to get Jeff Lemire? And are we going to get a Red Hood story here? We're going to see him tech.
It's going to be Robin.
Right? Yes, I know, right? But Jason Todd goes on to become.
But did he? Okay, let me ask you this: did he incorporate Nightwing in his Dick Grayson story? Because he did that with Dick Grayson a while back, did he not?
Yeah, he did. He did. But what I'm saying is, like, you know what I mean? Could we see, like, you know what I mean? Like,
if he did that with Nightwing, then yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, and I think we got the beginning of it, right?
Okay.
So I got to go back and reread that. But like, I saw this, and I'm like, because Dustin Nguyen's art is something else, because it's watercolory, right? It fits Lemire's style so well.
Mm-hmm.
But just like the way Lemire writes, right? And it was like one thing, like he did a great job with Dick Grayson and sort of channeling sort of that sort of inner traumatized angst of a young man just losing his parents, right? And then trying to, like, because there was some tribulations that he went through, as you'd expect. Jason Todd's a different cat than Dick Grayson, right? So I am very excited to see Lemire very specifically with that character. And like, will he plant the seeds? I guess, like, what I meant to say is, will we see Red Hood? Like, will we see him planting the seeds for what will eventually become, you know what I mean? Because we know how it happens. We know the event that, right? But like, there's got to be something else under the surface that could that's there, and that's what I hope Lemire sort of taps into.
I think I'm excited because Jason Todd is, I mean, he is the worst Robin. Like he is like the whiniest. He's the biggest punk. Like he's like in that's what's kind of, and I know Keith from #Dork, who I had on to do a whole character deep dive when it came to Red Hood a little while back. But like, he was like, he's talked about a ton, like how he was such a bad Robin, but he's come back, and as Red Hood, he reinvented himself and was such a compelling character, and still is a compelling character. I think that Jeff Lemire has a chance to turn him into a much more palatable Robin than he was before, especially because he's just a character who is appreciated a lot more than he was back when everybody decided to off him with the vote and everything. But anyways, yeah, very excited for that. Then we also got Trinity, Daughter of Wonder Woman, issue 1, written by Tom King with art by Belen Ortega. Honestly, I read that when I first saw that, I was like, did I say Bail Organa?
I thought the same thing.
Oh, okay, thank you. That's the only credit you want on this show. Oh man.
All right. So from Image and Skybound, we have Transformers issue 21, Spawn issue 365, Geiger issue 15, World Tree issue 15, King Spawn issue 46, Falling in Love to the Path to Hell issue 8, I Hate Fairyland issue 41, Blood and Thunder issue 2, Lost Fantasy issue 2, Savage Dragon issue 277. I tried to get cute with that one, and that did not sound right. I'll leave that one to Savage. I won't dick around with that one. Free Planet issue 2, Dry Blood issue 9, Sweet Paprika, Open for Business issue 5, Golden Rage, Mother Knows Best issue 3, and then the number one from Image that week is Genna.
Genna?
Genna? Naked Aggression, issue 1, written by Patrick Kinlan, with art by Maurizio Rosenwig.
From Boom, we got Something is Killing the Children, issue 42, and Hello Darkness, My Old
My old
Friend,
friend.
issue 11.
From Dark Horse, we have Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, The Bad Batch, Ghost Agents, issue 4. That was almost as long as all the number ones coming out from Marvel. Took it up. Stranger Things, Dungeons and Dragons, The Rise of Hellfire, issue 4. Frankenstein, A New World, The Sea of Forever, issue 4. Sister Imperator, issue 4. And then we have a couple of number ones. We have The Umbrella Academy, Plan B, issue 1, written by Gerald Way, with art by Gabrielle Bob. And we have Critical Role, Vox Machina, Origins 1, issue 1. Why can't it just be Origins, issue 1? Why is
How is that Origins 1? We already got Origins.
I might have fucked that up. That
Okay.
might be me.
Okay.
Written by Matthew Mercer and Matthew Colville, with art by Olivia Sampson.
From Mad Cave, we got Far Down Below, issue 3. And then we got a number 1, Blue Palo Verde, which is written by Ray Fox with art by Ramonti. Why am I getting all the short ones?
I don't know, because you're with the short host. I'm just saying this now, right? Chris Condon is on my short list for Writer of the Year. Just throwing it out there. We're
Okay.
halfway through the year. I feel safe in saying that.
Yeah, fair.
You talk about short, Jesus, Nicholas. From Oni, we have Dark Regards, issue 2. And then we have Blood Type, issue 1, written by Corinna Bechko, with art by Andrea Sorrentino.
And
Andrea
then
Sorrentino, that art's gonna be wild, man.
yes, sir. And then from AWA, we got The Purpose Project, issue 1, written by Danny Hogan, with art by Felipe Cunha, friend of the show.
Yep. You know what? Why don't you wrap us up so I don't do too much talking in a row?
No, you're right. You're right. You need a break. From IDW, we got TMNT Mutant Nation, issue 7, Star Trek Lower Decks, issue 8. From Titan, we got Conan the Barbarian, issue 21, and The Loose End, issue 4. What?
Excellent book.
Which one?
Loose End.
Oh, that's is that the one by Dwanch?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I gotta go back and get issue 3, but first 2 issues were excellent.
Nice. From Dynamite, we got Silverhawks, issue 5, Red Sonja versus the Army of Darkness, issue 3, and Zootopia, issue 4, which brings us to June 18th. That is the third Wednesday of June. Joe, kick us off with Marvel, please.
Jesus, with Marvel's number ones, I think those 2 weeks in June, they might have like 50 books just in number ones. For June 18th, from Marvel, we have The Ultimates, issue 13, X-Men, issue 18. That seems close. I feel like we get X-Men 17 the week before.
Let me double check.
Or 2 weeks before. There's no way we're getting 2 books in June, X-Men books. But that's what it says. The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 6, The Avengers, issue 27, Wolverine, issue 10, Aliens vs. Avengers, issue 4, Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, issue 9, Iron Man, issue 9, Psylocke, issue 8, West Coast Avengers, issue 8, Weapon X-Men, Fantastic Four, Fanfare, issue 2, Spider-Verse versus Venomverse, issue 2, Doom's Division, issue 4, Gwenpool, issue 2, Powerman Timeless, issue 4, and then we got a whole bunch of number ones. There we go.
Yes.
It's okay, get up.
Quite a bit. Yeah.
We have Emma Frost, The White Queen, issue 1, written by Amy Chu, with art by Andrea DeVito. We have Godzilla vs. Avengers, issue 1, written by David F. Walker, with art by George Genti. We have Jeff, the Land Shark, issue 1, written by Kelly Thompson, with art by Tokido Koro.
I think you nailed that. Holy shit. Bravo.
Yeah. Bring on the Bad Guys, Doom, issue 1, written by Mark Guggenheim, with art by Stefano Raphael. And then we have a book here that you've highlighted, Nicholas, Star Wars, Dr. Aphra, Chaos Agent, issue 1, written by friend of the show, Cherish Chen, with art by Gabrielle Guzman.
Yeah, I wanted to note this because Cherish Chen, I don't think we've seen anything from her since we got Radiant Red a little while back. And obviously we really enjoyed that series, had a great time chatting with her as well. I know she had been working on other projects, but I don't think we had anything specific from her with regards to like what was coming next. So it's been a little bit. Good to see her getting some Dr. Afro work. And personally, I had finally, I'm finally digging into the Darth Vader comics of recent years, and Kieran Gillen obviously had to start there. And the co-creator of Dr. Afra, very much excited to check this out. Probably going to check out some of the other Dr. Afra titles before, because that's a character who I like was created in the comics. We read some of the Star Wars comics. We don't read all of them between the two of us even. And I'm like, who is Dr. Afra? I didn't know, not having read the Darth Vader stuff. And she's a badass character. So I'm very excited to check out more here with Cherish Chen, and then some of the previous stuff that we've seen as well.
2-3 years ago, there was an entire Dr. Afra run, right?
Yeah.
Solo series, because they had, it was all you had Star Wars, you had Dr. Afra, you had the droids, you had Vader. They were all there was there was a point in time where they were all intermingling, with each other story wise. So I can't remember who the writer was on Dr. Afra, but
I need to check that out, because I'm actually very curious if it was straight up like if it was like I'm wondering if it was Karen. I think she's had two runs of her own title, I think.
yeah, there was one fairly recently, and
Karen
it
did
was
one for sure. I'm seeing
yeah.
right now. Karen definitely did one. So I might check that out, do a deep dive there, because if I like it as much as I like Karen's Vader stuff, um, then that'd be something
And
worth
I still
talking
have to
about.
read
So
Kieran's Vader stuff because I read the most recent Vader run, and not
hey, you did Pac, right?
I did Greg Pak, and
Yeah.
Gillen's run from all that I've heard is absolutely excellent. It was that run that made me want to start the Pak's run from the beginning. So
It's so I'm not gonna do. I know we've talked about doing like characters for like different arcs for characters. I don't know. It just because it's Darth Vader, it's still the same title. It feels weird for me to like try and shoehorn that in as an episode for us. Like it's great. It's awesome. It's absolutely
I
TLDR.
mean, you could do it. It's two different books, two different stories. So you know what I mean. Like it wouldn't be a bad idea to do it, to just do a mainline episode on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would. It's
Right?
definitely worthy. So
It's a
maybe I
different
will.
book. I didn't read it, so by all means, you know what I
Maybe,
mean?
yeah, I'll try and I'll move that up towards the top of the list then. There we go. Look at that. Look at us. All right, awesome. So from DC, we got Detective Comics 1098, Nightwing 127, Absolute Flash issue 4, Batman Superman World's Finest issue 40, Wonder Woman issue 22. You know what? I just had a delayed reaction. Isn't Dan Mora now off World's Finest, because he had been doing it for a long time?
He's been off it for a bit.
Yeah, but I'm now thinking back, he must have come off of it because of the Deadpool
Well,
Batman
he
stuff.
was doing Superman up till not too long ago as
So
well,
yeah,
right?
and obviously we know he can handle more work than most, him and Hayden Sherman. But still, I can't help but wonder if that had to be because
Mm.
he teased something at the time. But anyways, I could be overthinking it. From Titans, we got issue 24, Batman and Robin Year 1, issue 8, The New Gods, issue 7, Zatanna, issue 5, Catwoman 77, Superman Unlimited, issue 2, DC and Sonic the Hedgehog, issue 4, Batman 89 Echoes, issue 6. I feel like I just said that. Crypto, The Last Dog of Krypton is the only first issue that we're getting that week. That is written by Ryan North with art by Mike Norton.
All right, from Image and Skybound, we have Invincible Universe Battle Beast issue 2. Again, go check YouTube, subscribe. I did a blind bag on there recently. Lots of hit, Nicholas. It's got lots of hits. The most hits, they've ever said that a book has ever gotten. It's got a lot of hits.
I can't believe you just did that. I didn't see that coming.
A lot of hits. The most hits. Beautiful hits. Fucking idiot. G.I. Joe issue 8. Bug Wars issue 5. A book that I'm very much looking forward to here. Exquisite Corpses issue 2.
Oh,
The first issue knocked it out of the fucking ballpark. This issue is like, I can't wait. The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 115. Rogue Sun issue 28. The Rockefellers issue 6. Phantom Road issue 13. The Seasons issue 5. Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger Spawn issue 7. Rat City issue 15. Napalm Lullaby issue 10. I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer issue 3. Pun intended, another killer book. Gotta read that one, folks.
Oh yeah.
Black Ritual, The Book of Nyx, issue 3. Drawing Blood, issue 8. Adventureman, Family Tree, issue 3. Young Blood, Deluxe, issue 3. The Cold Witch, A Tale of the Shrouded College, issue 2. At Copra, issue 50. And then we have a number 1 here, Nicholas, Blood Letter, issue 1, written by Tim Seeley and Joseph Illidge with art by Christian Rosado.
And this is set in Spawn's universe. Tasha Thornwall is the Bloodletter, mystical mercenary of the world's secret underground, former CIA operative, forced to live in the shadows after being outed by Al Simmons 10 years ago. Tasha is now out for revenge when she learns Al Simmons is alive as Spawn. The mission to hunt down and kill Spawn begins in this debut mini series. Obviously, Tim Seeley, we've talked about his work quite a bit on the show, most notably under for Local Man with Tony Fleece. So I'm going to be checking this series out in Spawn's universe. Also, I wanted to say too, between Exquisite Corpses and I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer, 2 books that are on our radar for book of the year, or for sorry, not book of the year, for the floppies. You and I had talked about this previously. We should definitely do a horror series category, maybe like best new horror series. Like we'll just call it that, and that can be anything that started in 2025. Doesn't matter if it's ongoing or if it's a limited series. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't want to do ongoing. I feel like if it's best ongoing horror, like that's strong enough for you or I to have that be in our ongoing category. But I feel like we need to, like, because I don't know. We can refine that if we want.
No, I like that. I know you're going and where your head's at. I agree.
Okay, awesome. From Boom, we got I Heart Skull Crusher issue 10, Mouse Guard, Dawn of the Black Axe issue 3, and then The Last Witch, Blood and Betrayal issue 1 by Connor McCreary and Vivi Glass.
So this is a boombox series, and I read this. It came out a few years ago.
Ooh.
The first because it's like The Last Witch. That sounds familiar. And then I was like, oh shit, have there been like a bunch of other series that I've just like missed for some reason? No, this is the follow-up series to that I read a few years ago. So I'm very much looking forward to this. This was a fun fantasy series. You know, Boombox is more geared towards sort of young adult readers, but it's still just a really good fantasy comic in general. So I am looking forward to that. From Dark Horse, we have Vatican City issue 3, The Magic Order 5 issue 6, Usagi Yojimbo 10,000 Plums issue 4, Los Monstros issue 2, The Great British Bump Off Kill or Be Quilt issue 3, Assassin's Creed Mirage, A Soar of Eagles issue 3, You Never Heard of Me issue 5, and then we have The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos, Children of the Night, issue 1, written by James Tynan and Tate Bromble, with art by Isaac Goldhart.
Am I frozen? Like, can you
were
hear
for
me
a
okay
second
on my
there.
end?
I can hear you now, baby.
Okay. You can hear me
Yeah.
now? Okay, because my internet's not looking great and it's pissing me off. All right, from Mad Cave, we got Flash Gordon issue 10, Vanishing Point issue 2, Pastime issue 3, and then we got a number 1, Bitchcraft issue 1. This is written by Aaron Reese with art by Lima Carroll.
From Oni Press, we have Epitaphs from the Abyss issue 12 and Benjamin issue 1, written by Ben H. Winters with art by Leo Max. Ben, naming a book after yourself, Ben? Is that what we're doing, Ben? Really? Really?
He's also a writer too, this character.
Yeah. On the nose. But we'll definitely be checking this one out.
Yes. From IDW, we got Star Trek Omega issue 1. This is various writers and artists. And then Monster High, Loch Ness Monster issue 1, written by Heather Neufer with art by Kelly Riley. I'll take us through these next few too, Joe. From Vault, we got Money Shot Big Bang issue 2. From Titan, we got RuneScape, Untold Tales of the God Wars issue 4. And then number 1 from them, Return to Skull Island issue 1, written by Simon Furman with art by Chris Jones. This is the official continuation of the Skull Island animated series. From Dynamite, we got DuckTales issue 5, the Herculoids issue 5, Vampirella issue 3, Thundercats issue. We already said Thundercats 16 and Terminator 8, and Captain Planet and the Planetaries issue 2.
I would say this is more likely the week that it comes out.
Got it.
Because I just got Terminator 7.
Okay.
But I got Thundercats 15. So who knows? This, I would say, honestly, if I know Dynamite, like I know Dynamite, the first time we mentioned Thundercats 16 is probably when we get Thundercats 16. And this is the week that we probably actually get Terminator 8.
Got it. Okay. All right. So at some point we should be getting those this month.
Just know that Dynamite, for whatever reason, their dates and what we get from League of Comic Geeks for the past several months, maybe even the start of the year, really has just not lined up.
So we'll just, the easiest way to avoid this is Dynamite. Just, send us the review copies. That way we don't have to go elsewhere. We also got Space Ghost Annual coming from Dynamite this month. And then we got a number 1 that you want to check out, Joe, centered around Red Sonja.
Yeah, I'm all about Red Sonja lately, baby. So I've been reading Red Sonja versus the Army of Darkness. That's written by Tim Seeley. That's fun. That's just a fun, because Army of Darkness is a fun, quirky horror story, and then you combine, Red Sonja and Tim Seeley's, tremendous comedy. It just works really well. But this one's piqued my interest. Red Sonja Noir issue 1, written by David Avalone with art by Edu Mena. The Crimson Maned warrior of song and legend muscles her way into trouble once more in this all-new hard-boiled Hyboria. When her mercenary partner is murdered, Sonya is drawn into a feverish hunt for a priceless artifact known as the Crimson Calypso. So yeah, I mean, this just sounds like a kick-ass Red Sonja book that I am very much into.
Nice, very nice. You got to do something Red Sonja related on this show at some point down the line. All right, moving over to the final week of June, the fourth Wednesday is the 25th. What do we have from Marvel?
We have Ultimate Spider-Man issue 18, Uncanny X-Men issue 16, Fantastic Four issue 33, Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 34, The Incredible Hulk issue 26, Deadpool issue 15, Predator versus Spider-Man issue 3, Spider-Man and Wolverine issue 2, Spider-Boy issue 20, Doom Academy issue 5, Star Wars Legacy of Vader issue 5, Superior Avengers issue 3, The Thing issue 2, The Vision and the Scarlet Witch issue 2, Wolverine and Kitty Pryde issue 3, and then a few number 1s. Thankfully, they reduced it just a smidge. We got Giant Size Age of Apocalypse issue 1, written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly with art by Carlos Fabian. And then we have X-Men from the Ashes, like a phoenix rising from Arizona. Demons and Death issue 1, written by Alex Packnadell with art by Philip Seavey.
Phoenix rising from Ashes. That always gets me. All right, from DC, we got Batman 161, Absolute Wonder Woman issue 9, Absolute Martian Manhunter issue 4, Superman issue 27, Justice League Unlimited issue 8, Green Arrow issue 25, Green Lantern issue 24, The Flash issue 22, Harley Quinn issue 52, Green Lantern Dark issue 5, Mr. Terrific Year 1 issue 2, Peacemaker presents the Vigilante Eagly double feature issue 4. Honest to goodness, I thought this was a one shot when it first started. And I'm like so mad that I haven't been checking this out more. And then Batman Giant Size Special Edition issue 161. Where are all the other giant size special editions? And then we also get the New History of the DC Universe issue 1, written by Mark Waid with art by Jerry Ordway, not to be confused with Glenn Ordway. And then Todd Knock is also the artist on this.
I was trying to think. I was going to try and do a Glenn Ordway impression, but I couldn't think of his catchphrase in time.
Talk about ball movement. Talk about movement of the ball. I can't do it. I haven't done my Glenn Ordway impression in so long. And sorry, that's like for like 2 of our audience members.
Right. The big O. From Image and Skybound, we have Void Rivals issue 20, The Department of Truth issue 31, Radiant Black issue 35, Gunslinger Spawn issue 44, Hyde Street issue 7, Assorted Crisis Events issue 4, Feral issue 14, Undiscovered Country issue 31.
Been on a pause for a bit.
That's a hot minute, Nicholas. A hot
Mm.
minute since we've had Undiscovered Country. Medieval Spawn issue 3. We're Taking Everyone Down With Us issue 4. Falling in Love on the Path to Hell issue 9. Universal Monsters The Mummy issue 4. Ultra Mega issue 9. You'll Do Bad Things issue 4. The Tin Can Society issue 7 making its return. Let's go. Bitter Root The Next Movement issue 4. Sleep issue 2. Blood Squad 7. I got it right again, Nicholas. I'm on a fucking heater.
Oh,
Issue
yeah.
9. Moonshine Bigfoot issue 3. Dark Honor issue 2. And then we have a slew of number ones. So you remember how earlier I said Chris Condon's on my short list for Writer of the Year? Well, he's got yet another book coming out this month. News from the Fallout issue 1, written by Chris Condon with art by Jeffrey Allen Love. Now, when we had him on the program, he talked about this book and saying how I believe this was the book he got a little pushback on the art style because he wanted it presented in a very specific way, right? And he said there was something like, "Oh, how are we gonna?" No, this is how the story has to be told. He was like very adamant. I'll have to go back and re-listen to the issue or the episode. I'm pretty sure that was this book, but we've gotten. Did we got in advance of this, right?
I think he talked. I don't think you're gonna hear that in the interview. I think he told us about that off air. I
Oh,
think.
so you're gonna go back and
No,
cut that then?
no, it's fine. You didn't say anything you couldn't say. But we did get a look at it. We actually did an early look on it too, because
That's right. Yeah.
not too long after the interview dropped, he released the news, so it kind of
Yeah.
worked out really well. But yeah, dude, Jeffrey Allen Love's art style is so haunting. And I know I feel like I've been using that word to describe a lot of the different horror stories that we've been seeing, but man, this guy takes the cake. It is just no use of color, all black and white, and it
Mm-hmm.
is terrifying. And like, I get the feeling that like this first issue, I mean, it really is just a taste of how
Mm-hmm.
chilling this story is going to be.
Yeah. So Chris Condon, flying up the ranks, baby, flying up the ranks. We have Lazarus Fallen issue 1, written by Greg Rucka with art by Michael Lark, and then we have a book, Nicholas, that you are a book you're actually going to snake from out from under me, but this is one I will stop at the red light for. This is Stay Out of the Woods issue 1, written by Joe Pruitt with art by Butch Guice.
Guys.
Guys, thank you.
Yep.
I can't bat 1,000. I'm not Ted Williams here. You know,
It's really funny because I feel like we've both done this where it's like it's a name where you or I have probably never seen it before, never had to say it out loud before, and it's really complicated, at least to us, and we get it. And then that is like, I feel like I've seen that name before. But whatever, who gives a shit? We're sorry we always are sorry to the creators that we get their names wrong. We don't want to do that. We do give a shit.
Jason Mason.
Yeah. But all right, so Staying Out of the Woods issue 1, a nightmarish terror once again haunts the shadowy woods of a small town community. 3 young friends have to confront their own childhood fears, undead creatures that stalk the living, an enigmatic tree that seemingly collects souls, and an ancient forest entity that seeks to reclaim these lands as its own. I'm in all the way in this, like,
Well,
especially small town community horror stories. Ever since the Harrower, I'm kind of like itching for more of that.
yeah, you missed the best part. It's
It's
Tom
true.
Sawyer meets Pan's Labyrinth meets It.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right?
That's yep.
You could just read that. Oh fuck yeah! I get why you called dibs.
Yep. I
Holy
did very
shit.
lead there. Honest to God, that is when I was like, oh shit, I got to take this because Joe will take this. That's kind of my motivator now. Is like, if you're going to steal a book from me that I'm interested in, I'm like, all right, I'm going to take this. I'm not going to make sure he's not
Yeah. Because you dilly dally, I end up stealing books, and then you
you
end up
just make
going
you make your own rules.
getting niceness. No such thing. That's fake news. That's fake fucking news.
Oh.
If
Honestly,
you believe it, it's not a lie.
That just broke me. Oh my god. All right. Anyways,
Boom, Nicholas.
Minor Arcana issue 8, In Bloom issue 5, When I Lay My Vengeance Upon the issue 5. I'm not going to try and do it in the Samuel L. Jackson voice. That would be way better, though. The Armory Wars, Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4, Volume 2, Issue 12. Come on, guys. VR Troopers, Issue 1 is the only Issue 1 that we're getting from Boom in the final week of June. This is written by Marguerite Scott with art by Sebastian Parise. This is spinning out of Power Rangers Prime. So if you've been reading that, this is something you might want to check out. What do we got from Dark Horse, Joe?
From Dark Horse, we have Star Wars, The High Republic Adventures, or Swartha to our diehards, issue 19. The Witcher, The Bear and the Butterfly, issue 2. All right. I feel like it was a hot minute since we got the first issue.
Yeah, I feel like we got it in April, so it's maybe like a week, month and a half, something like that, maybe.
Yeah. Huck, Big Bad World, issue 2. Shadow of the Golden Crane, issue 4. From the World of Minor Threats, Welcome to Twilight, issue 4. Who are the Power Pals, issue 4? Question mark. And then we have a couple of number ones. We have Stranger Things, Tales from Hawkins 2, issue 1. Derek Friedolfs with art by Sonato. Oh, so yep, right?
Yeah, I might
Sonato
have.
C.
I might have accidentally left out Sonando's last name. I apologize, Sonando.
Okay.
Maybe it's Sonando.
Maybe it's just Sonando. Sonando.
That's honestly, you should. I've never heard the name Sonando, so if you want to do that, Sonando, go for it.
I'm gonna get a little something here about Stranger Things in general. Shit or get off the pot. These kids are gonna be fucking like 30 years old soon.
Is this
right?
you, dude?
Yeah, well, I know. Like, get it out there, right? It's been forever. Like, come on, right?
It is a tough thing where it's like you're doing a show with kids like this for this long. Like you can't take forever.
Yeah, they stop being adorable after a certain point. Tramps of the Apocalypse, issue 1, written and drawn by Alice Darrow. What do we have from Mad Cave, Nicholas?
The Pale Knight, issue 2, and his dickhead squire. Defenders of Earth, issue 8. Dark Pyramid, issue 4. Crush Depth, issue 4. Blade Forger, issue 1. And then we got a number 1, and I feel like I've seen this, if not in this week alone, but in the last few issues or last few weeks from Mad Cave. This has been a backup story, or at least we've been getting like a part of a preview. Yeah. Thank you. Don't Forget Your Briefcase, issue 1, written by Elliot Rahl with art by Philip Seavey.
From Oni Press, we have Out of Alcatraz, issue 4. This has been an absolutely excellent series. Nice. And then we have Biker Mice from Mars, issue 1, written by Melissa Flores with art by Daniel Get. Did you ever watch the Biker Mice from Mars, Nicholas?
I never did, and I remember them as a kid, and I didn't.
Obscure as hell 90s cartoon, right? Or 80s, 90s, I think.
Okay. Yeah. I absolutely want to check this out though, because I remember them, and I'm just like, and Melissa Flores is writing it too, so I want to check it out. So I honestly, because again, we've only gotten Only Press review copies, and sometimes if you don't have them on your pull list, like they're with smaller publishers, you're not going to see their stuff on the shelves always. I didn't realize that the Biker Mice from Mars is just starting now, so I'm very excited to check this out. Are you going to look at it too, or no?
I mean, I'll give it a peek. You know.
Okay. Cool. Mm-hmm. All right. From IDW, we got Sonic the Hedgehog issue 79. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures issue 26. Teenage Godzilla 7. I'm still like laughing from your fucking. It's not a lie if you believe it. Bullshit. Godzilla 70th anniversary foil classics. Godzilla the Half Century War issue 1. That's just come on. But it is written and drawn by James Stokoe.
We'll go with Stucco.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Okay. You know what? I'll finish. I'll wrap things up here, Nicholas. Right, because you're a little fucking flustered. From Vault, we have Lilith issue 5. From Titan, we have The Savage Sword of Conan issue 9. Huge Detective issue 5. Star Wars Insider issue 232. And Noun Town issue 3. And then lastly, from Dynamite, we have Captain Planet and the Planeteers issue 3.
No way.
Fire and Ice issue 4. Thundercats Lost issue 4, Silverhawks issue 6, Space Ghost, Johnny Quest, Space Quest issue 3, DuckTales issue 7, DuckTales issue 6.
No way. This is no way with any of this. Because it's
Yeah.
just too much in 1 month. There's no. I mean, I know this is what I pulled. I
Yeah,
messed
yeah,
up
yeah.
on the Ducktales, obviously, but like the
Yeah,
rest of it.
I would say the only thing coming out this week, honestly, would probably be Captain Planet. But anyways, I'm going to read them.
Mm.
We say this with a grain of
Mm.
salt. These are subject to change. Vampirella issue 4, Red Sonja Attacks Mars issue 4, Zootopia issue 5, Gargoyles Demona issue 2, Barbarella issue 5. This book, now this one I truly believe will come out when it actually
Yeah.
says Thundercats to Powerpuff Girls issue 1, written by Paulina Ganeshaw with art by Coleman Engel. And I believe this was a free comic book day, a preview of this.
Oh,
Or you know what? I might have actually just put it on my pull list for Violet.
I was
forgot
going to
what it's
ask
on the
you,
list.
are you gonna get this for her?
It's on my pull list, so
Nice.
we'll see. We'll see if she checks that out. But that is it, folks. That wraps up this very long June solicit. But that's mostly because we had big news to discuss at the top of the hour. Plus, we had a fifth week in there for what's new. So, all things considered, young Nicholas, I think we did a pretty good job.
Hey, you know what? If you believe that, then you can't. It's not a lie. So there you go.
It's
You
not
can't be wrong.
Nicholas.
Yes, we had a lot to get to. A lot of good stuff coming out in June. Make sure you subscribe to one of our audio channels. Make sure you get all the Fireside chats delivered right to your listening device, because you never know when one of those are going to pop up, because we never know when one of those are going to pop up. Any other parting words, Joe, for the people before we get going?
Keep reading, baby.